explosive, right? So these TNT and RDX, these high explosives, when we discuss, these are all very, very low sensitivity. That is very easy to handle, right? But even that means it requires high energy to get initiation, right? So, but when it initiates, it will give a lot of energy. But whereas a low explosive doesn't give much energy like your high explosive, but they are all high sensitive. Example is your gunpowder, okay, which is vastly used in ammunitions, and your fireworks composition. So those will be coming under low explosives. So next is oxidizer and fuel. So why I am discussing oxidizer and fuel? So any explosive you make, especially low explosives, requires oxidizer and fuel, because we are not going to supply any oxygen inside the explosive, right? So we have a bomb. So we have a mixture. Gunpowder, for example, gunpowder you take, we have sulfur, we have potassium nitrate, you have carbon, right? So oxygen should be supplied by the decomposition of some oxidizer that is present inside, right? So on decomposition, the oxidizer will supply oxygen, or also we can say it will accept the electrons during the reaction. So mostly if you take oxidizer, the valency will be in negative phase. Okay, valency of the oxidizer will be negative phase. Okay, you may think like oxidizer should be having oxygen. It's not like that. Sometimes you know chlorine is a very high oxidizer, right? And fuels, if you take fuels, sulfur is one of the examples for fuels, and metal elements like your aluminum powder, titanium, and carbon. So these are some examples of fuels. So this will form this mixtures like oxidizer fuel mixtures will basically form a low explosives, right? So Beirut explosion, we just come to the main accident that happened that shocked the entire world, right? So that happened on August 4th of 2020. That means everybody were in pandemic, right? So what happened? So it happened on August 4th, 2020. It happened in 3 p.m. GMT, the Greenwich Meridian Time, in the port of Beirut, which is the capital city of Lebanon, right? The explosion happened in the warehouse which stored around 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate. So it's so hazardous, right? The explosion resulted in more than 170 fatalities. So these are the data which is given by the government, which is published by the government. So 170 fatalities were registered, and more than 6,500 people got injured. And it is estimated like 3 million. So I think, 3 lakh people were homeless, and the explosion was like, it registered like 3.3 magnitude of earthquake. Okay, and as declared by the governor, so the loss was to 15 billion. So huge amount of economy loss was there due to this Beirut explosion. Okay, so the what is the preliminary reporting? Always we used to observe a lot of videos, no, like the video is acting as one of the video is playing a very important role in PSM investigations. So from that, it is very clear like something got initiated in prior to the explosion. So it is found that fireworks got, there was already also some fireworks which were stored along with the ammonium nitrate. So it got ignited, but some other sources, okay, some other sources it got ignited, okay, which should have ignited the ammonium nitrate, which is lying for a long time. So now in next video, I'll be showing, I'll be discussing about ammonium nitrate. So we should be knowing about the properties of ammonium nitrate. So NH4NO thrice, you know it, it's a colorless, it's a crystalline. And the next one is highly hygroscopic. So hygroscopic means it has the potential to absorb the moisture from the absorb the moisture, right? It has the potential to absorb the moisture, right? And its heat of detonation is 1.6 kilojoules per gram. Okay, that how much amount of energy is required to make it detonate, right? So though I have given some reference here because different grades of ammonium nitrate are here. So this is commonly used. So that is why we have used Isato et al. 2013. So, and the melting point is 169.6 degrees centigrade, and AN may explode between 260 to 300 degrees centigrade. Okay, so why again why this big gap is because of the different grades of ammonia, okay, ammonium nitrate. Because of the different grades of ammonium nitrate, we may not conclude this is the actual. So that is why we are giving the range 260 to 300. Okay, so decomposes and gives oxides of nitrogen and water vapor. So this is again an environmental concern. Your oxides of nitrogen, NOx. Okay, it's again toxic to the atmosphere. Where it is widely used as a propellants, and it is used in fertilizers because it is a nitrogen rich. Okay, nitrogen enrichment of the soil is very important. Okay, especially urea and all, you may be knowing it's highly nitrogen rich. So they used to make fertilizers and also in propellants because this has a very good reactive nature, right? So hazardous substance, it is a hazardous substance under Seveso directives too. Okay, since 1996. In 1996, it was not coming under any of, it was not declared as a hazardous material. But after 1996, which is European Parliament and Council of European Parliament, they have declared this ammonium nitrate as a hazardous substance, right? So we want to say like ammonium nitrate is on its own is harmless, right? It is harmless. Okay, it's a non-poisonous, stable if stored appropriately in a watertight containers. That is why I said it's the property which is processed, the hygroscopic nature is making it, like highly hazardous. When you open it, it will absorb the moisture, it will form a chunk. Like we used to store some powders, right? Especially salt. We used to store some masalas. Okay, so if you keep it open, we can see the chunks, right? And we can see like your cement bags. Cement bags, if it is damp, okay, it will not reuse it. It will become a very solid like material, right? So similar effect we will get when it is stored in a humid condition, okay, which will make it much more worse because of the confinement effect. And confinement effect, it will be highly reactive and the energy emitted will be much higher, right? So AN explosions associated with the storage are entirely preventable. This statement was given by a scientist called Vayantis Babrukas, okay, which he has declared this when he was investigating previous accidents. So two concerns are important. One is it should not be stored with any combustible material, right? And it should be free from moisture. Okay, so I just left it. So to be free from moisture. It should be, that means it should be closed. It should be closed. It should be free from atmospheric humidity, right? So I hope you are well aware about this NFPA diamond. It is basically an oxidizer, right? It's basically an oxidizer. So now let us get into the video. So I'll be explaining some of the interesting things from the video also, and I think you can also get some of the interesting things from the video.
And there you can see the enormity of what appears to be a secondary explosion, whether that was could well be the first explosion, because it may have been a fire just before it, but I'm just getting reports actually that there was a fire first and then that enormous explosion. Just show viewers, and this is the explosion.
So here you can see some of the initial explosions happening. You can see it's a fireworks explosion initially.
From a different angle, and again it just shows how whether that's the first explosion or the second explosion is not clear, but that is what the authorities or state media says is a fireworks warehouse, and you can see actually firecrackers or some sort of subsidiary explosions going on there. But those pictures just in, and there another explosion as well.
Okay, so you can see some cloud-like form, right? So there was a whitish cloud that is forming. Okay, so that is nothing but it is called a Wilson cloud. Okay, so whenever there is a detonation is happening, so there will be two phases you may be knowing, like compression and rarefaction. So whenever you take detonation, right? So detonation phase will be having compression phase and rarefaction phase. So during rarefaction, so what happens? There will be sudden expansion. Okay, sudden expansion will be happening. So the cooling effect made that cloud actually. So you can see the water vapors that is forming a cloud-like structure during explosion. That is called the Wilson cloud. Okay, and this explosion is a ground blast, so that is why it is creating a hemispherical blast, hemispherical waves. Okay, so we have three types of blast: free air blast, air blast, and ground blast. So this is the ground blast. So apart from this ammonium nitrate accidents, right? So whenever we discuss ammonium nitrate before Beirut, so we'll be discussing about these two accidents usually. So one happened in West Fertilizer, Texas, right? You can see the picture also where how much amount of damage has incurred, and another one is ASSP factory explosion, which happened in Toulouse. I hope it's a very notable accident in the field, especially with concern to ammonium nitrate storage. Okay, so these accidents have shown like the investigations have shown they were stored with some of the fuels. Okay, some of the fuels, right? Like in Beirut we have fireworks, so there some of the fuels were stored there, so which made the accidents so worse. Yeah. So, so there were 15 fatalities and 200 people severely injured in West Texas, and 31 fatalities were there happened registered in ASSP factory explosion. Right. So ammonium nitrate explosion safety, there has to be adequate fire safety. Why we are discussing about fire safety when we discuss about explosion? So as far as this ammonium nitrate is concerned, the ignition source is maybe from the small welding or any hard work that is performed. Okay, it is not like highly sensitive. It is not like highly impact sensitive material, right? So somewhere somebody should have carried out any hard work which should have ignited the any other material present and things made worse. That is why we always consider like fire safety is very important when it is when we take very big storage conditions, when you perform any maintenance operation. Okay, fire safety is very important. In Beirut accident, there was also something reported like people were carrying out welding operation. They were carrying out welding of some doors they are carrying out, which should have initiated. Okay, so fire safety is very important, and technical knowledge of the chemical what they are storing should be is a very important, right? So though we discuss a lot of accidents, so if we have PSM, we have a lot of accidents, right? So a lot of accident database we discuss it, but still accidents are happening. Okay, so after this Beirut accident, I think in Chennai they were storing some amount of ammonium nitrate. Later they shifted it. Okay, so every accident teaches us something. So now we get into the accident analysis and investigation. So these are the pictures. Actually, these were reported in the newspaper prior to explosion. Okay, so actually we have used these pictures in our research paper. So you can see how this ammonium nitrate is stored. It's stored in a very hazardous manner. You know, like we already told you, like it should be free from humid, right? Free from humid, but how it is stored, so it shows like the so pathetic condition it is stored, right? So the porous ammonium nitrate pellets that were stored in hangar 12. So hangar, you know, it's a very big storage building called as hangar, right? So what they were doing, this ammonium nitrate was transported from Georgia. It was planned to shift to Mozambique. So they had a halt at the Beirut port to get some more baggages. So there was a issue between the shipping company and the Beirut company. So the Beirut company has raised a lawsuit. So what happened? The ship was banned from getting out of the Beirut port. Okay, and after some time, so the money which they have to pay is much more increasing. So the judge, the court of Beirut has ordered all the ammonium nitrate which is stored should be unloaded from the ship. Okay, so the contents on the ship being highly hazardous, the Lebanese government judge ordered the cargo contents to be offloaded and stored in a warehouse designed for highly hazardous material in October 2014. So still that it was there. Okay, so the ammonium nitrate pellet bags were stored in a reckless manner. So with this picture, I think it is very clear. Okay, it's very clear it's stored in a very reckless and very hazardous manner. Okay, the seized ammonium nitrate accounting to 2,750 tons was stored in the hangar for approximately 6 years. That was making things very worse. Okay, 6 years of storage. So how much amount of humidity should have been absorbed? Its sensitivity, its reactive nature should have been completely changed. Okay, we may think like adding water may be like adding water to any substance, maybe like especially with the explosive. Most of the explosive substance, with the reaction rate will be increasing if you add any water or any humid. Okay, so excuse me, I have some issue with my laptop. 1 minute. Yeah, thank you. So as per the reports observed, several tons of ammonium nitrate is stored in a hazardous manner along with 15 tons of fireworks. So already some 15 tons of fireworks were already there. Okay, so they were storing, and apart from fireworks, they were also there. Some wooden spools were also there, and several containers of kerosene. It's actually ammonium. You may be knowing about AN4. So ammonium nitrate fuel oil, so which is an explosive. So kerosene is also there, which makes things very worse. And also hydrochloric acid is also stored along with the ammonium nitrate. Okay, so this makes the entire condition like much hazardous. So on the day of explosion, as I said, like welding of a warehouse door was being carried out around afternoon time, right? It is highly likely that it is believed that those sparks from the welding were the source of ignition that initiated the chain of events. I hope you know about maybe the lack of fire watcher. Maybe the lack of fire watcher maybe also be the one of the main reason for big tragedies. Okay, they may have conducted, but they should have left after some time, should have ignited. Okay, so this is a fishbone diagram. So various reasons, okay, managemental reasons. What are the managemental reasons? What are the manpower? Okay, so as you know, like the people who are handling the ammonium nitrate, they don't know about the hazard of the material. So material you say they are storing huge amount of ammonium nitrate. They don't know about ammonium nitrate, okay, but they are storing huge amount of ammonium nitrate. That too in the region where population density is much higher, right? And it was stored with kerosene, wooden materials, right? So these are the different aspects, okay, which are described, which are discussed in this fishbone diagram, which has led to the ammonium nitrate explosion in Beirut port. Okay, so legal standards. So what about the legal standards? So that's very important, right? So even though we don't like it, but legal practice, no, because of the legal practice, we are bound to follow something. So at least that should have saved. Okay, so they also have some legal standards like LIBNOR, right? That is applicable only within the country. And the drawback is like what it is found is they don't have the information, right? So they don't have the information about the material. MSDS, like I think next sir is teaching about MSDS, that will be very useful, right? So MSDS is maybe in the form of MSDS might not be available, and they don't know about the instruction in handling. And the people who are working there should be trained, some aspects of handling explosives, and supervision should be there. So even we are storing it for a long time, something we have to have a supervision, whether it is stored properly, supervision should be there. These things were not, these things should have been done, but they didn't do it, right? And at least ILO says if they're not following Beirut, at least we have ILO. So ILO standards are there. So ILO C70, which says any facility involved with the production, handling, storage, transportation, disposal, or treatment of hazardous chemical must maintain a chemical safety data sheet as per the Article 8 of C70, right? And Article 15 of C70 says, okay, that the hazards associated with this chemical must be communicated and necessary trainings must be provided to the responsible people. At least if they have followed these standards, right, it should have been avoided, right? So the accident in Lebanon, it is evident that the hazards of ammonium nitrate was not known either to authorities who seized it, as I said already, right? They were not completely, and they were unaware about the hazards of the ammonium nitrate. And in India, PESO, we have Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization. We have ammonium nitrate rules. We have some rules for ammonium nitrate. Similarly, in Lebanon, they should be having, but they don't have it. So they don't have any dedicated rule for ammonium nitrate. So we also conducted consequence analysis. So that is very important post-accident also, and it is also better if we are doing prior to accident. That means if I am going to store 100 kg of some explosive substance, I should know how much amount of explosive effect it is going to give. So accordingly, I will store. I may avoid that place if the population density is higher. I may be storing that in somewhere in isolated place, right? So consequence analysis is very important prior to storage, and post accident analysis, consequence analysis plays a very important role. So TNT, to perform a consequence analysis, right? So always we go with some standard. Okay, so we use a TNT equivalency method. We always go with a TNT equivalency method because we cannot frame different calculations for different types of explosives. Okay, different types of explosive, different composition of explosive. We cannot derive formula for that. So we have a standard called TNT equivalency. So whatever the explosive we have, so we will find how much of my explosive is equivalent to TNT. So we'll convert it to TNT, and then we will perform the calculation. So here we have we are considering heat of detonation. You have seen previously we have discussed heat of detonation. So the heat of detonation of the explosive, I think we have considered 1.6 kilojoules per gram, okay, which is, and again, we have used heat of detonation of TNT 4521 kilojoules per kg. Okay, we have used this and we have calculated the TNT equivalency of explosive, which we will be discussing next 4 coming slides. Okay, so in case of ammonium nitrate, some properties are highly dependent on the characteristics such as nitrogen content, okay, nitrogen content, density of ammonia, okay, how much dense it is, okay, and porosity depends on specific grade of ammonia. As I said, like we are not aware about what is the grade of ammonia it was stored, so that is we were unaware. Okay, we were unaware it. Maybe there may be a slight differentiation in the difference in the calculation and the real time explosion because of the unavailability of the grade of ammonia which they have stored, right? And also the degree of confinement. I said the degree of confinement will also make things very worse, right? And how much amount, if you store a material in a powder form and if it is in a chunk, okay, I said like already how it forms a solid chunk, so the explosion or the reaction will be different. Yeah, sorry. So next is overpressure and impulse calculations. So always when there is an explosion, we always calculate this overpressure and impulse. Okay, so overpressure is something, the pressure energy that is created, and impulse we consider because that is very responsible for the structural damages and all. Impulse will be playing a very important role. So we are considering overpressure and impulse. And the scaling laws. So why we are using scaling laws? So always here you can see like R and R by W to the power of 1/3. Okay, what is this? R is something a distance and W is the weight. So these two things are interdependent, right? For example, any explosion is happening, the effect at certain distance will be varying, and also how much amount you use, that also has some effect on that. So we are making scaling law. So whatever the explosion effects, okay, so you can see overpressure versus scaled distance, nothing but the Z which you have used here. So they always go with this Z, okay. And we can see the pressure equation, overpressure equation, and the impulse equation which you have used. These equations were derived by the scientist called Prugh, right? Prugh, Prugh, right? So different types of explosion, I said, like air blast and ground blast. Ground blast, there is another one very big reliable technique is also there, Kingery-Bull mesh. But this is a very vast, okay, the area that is going to cover is very vast. So we are considering Prugh's equation, which is much more related to the Beirut explosion. So effect modeling we have to do, as you know, like whenever we get a explosion, right? Explosion waves approaches the human beings, right? So what are the damages we'll get? So lung hemorrhage will happen. Lung damage will be happening because of the changes in the pressure, right? So high pressure is there, so we have low pressure is found in the lungs. So there is changes in the pressure, lung damage can happen. And another one thing is your eardrum rupture can also happen because you know, like pressure also plays a very important role in hearing. So there is a huge damage of hearing. Your eardrum rupture can also happen due to the explosion waves. Okay, so we are calculating that probability, using a probability equations. Okay, these are all equations which is derived from the real-time experimental data by different scientists, right? And also we are telling a probability. We are mentioning the probability of the damage happening in the building in terms of complete structural damage, in terms of glass shattering, right? And also we are discussing about the injury that is happened to the person due to the fragments, right? So when it explodes, you know, like construction materials or whatever that is coming, it will be flying at very high velocity, right? When it hits, there is chances of death. Okay, so we are also calculating that here. So we are using probability equations. So you know, like we are having a y. Okay, these equations have been derived by different people. So we have also given reference here. So y value we will be using here. For example, y value, if I am getting 8.09 in the chart, that means the probability is 99.9% that damage will be happening. So this is how we have calculated. This is a very reliable method. I think the same techniques also available in CCPS books also. Okay, so these are the results and discussion. So 2,750 tons of ammonia we have considered, and it is equivalent to 1,981.42 tons of TNT, right? Its TNT equivalence is 1981.42 tons as per the calculations we have considered. Okay, and we have here we have considered different notable locations in the city of Beirut, and we have measured how much distance it is from the crater. Crater is something it forms where the explosion happened. So the crater is be formed there. From there, how much distance it is made. Okay, so that we have calculated. Okay, and overpressure generated we have mentioned 14.168, right? And the impulse also we have calculated using the equations which we have seen in the previous slides. And so these overpressure, right? So these overpressure equations we are using in this equation. You can see PS and IS. Okay, so this we are using here, and we have calculated the probability of that happening, because we never visited that place. So only we can tell in the terms of probability. So unless we visit that place, we cannot say that. So explosion is happening, mostly we will tell in the terms of probability, right? The probability of damage that is happened. Okay, you can see here at the 500 meter, right? So 417 meter. So here the net it is given 417.41. So for this, the fatal injury from the fragments, okay, it's around 50% of injury will be happening due to the fragments, and eardrum rupture, it is around 85% of 85% probability there is a damage of eardrum rupture can happen, and fatal injury from an injury from fragments, right? Okay, so these are the different techniques, different probability values we have obtained. And here you can see like probability of the building collapse, the glass shattering, and the major structural damages, which you have calculated using the previous equations. So this is so we have to validate, right? We have to validate our result with some sources. So we cannot go in person and we cannot see. So we are in India, and Beirut, it's impossible. So NASA has at that time NASA has published this satellite images. So they have did some image processing. So previous day how it was, and after explosion what are the changes that has happened in the ground. Okay, so they have developed this map. Okay, and it was colored in three. One is the red color, okay, which is dark color, represents the extreme damage, and orange color subject to moderate damage, and the yellow areas were likely to have sustained lesser damages. So they have did it with using satellite data, and some image processing techniques. So we have to validate our result, right? So with the data that is given by the NASA, okay, we have validated our result. We have used wherever they have given the plotted. So we have selected the places using the coordinates, and what type of what is the overpressure I am getting from my equation, and what is the possibility of damage that we are getting, or that we have just given here. Okay, so in the first we can say like a target distance of 966.35. So NASA's categorization dark red. It was a very dark red color. That means huge damage happened. So overpressure generated is 2.817, and generated impulse is 715.416. So which we have used in the equation which we have considered, and probability we have found is a high injury rate from fragments of 100. High injury rate from fragments, and 100% glass breakage is assumed in that place. Okay, so that means the high injury rate will be happening. That means it's right. It's given a red color. So this is how we have validated our results. Okay, so we have chosen various places, various locations, and we have calculated overpressure at that point, and what will be the what is the damage effect we are getting at that certain place. So that we have calculated in this chart. So as I said, like we have collected various reports. So raw data we cannot, we cannot start like that. So we have considered a lot of data, a lot of information that is given by the reports published by the various newspapers. Mostly newspapers played a very important role, and government reports, past government reports, and the past scientists, they have given a lot of research on ammonium nitrate. So we have used, and we have performed this analysis. So as I said, like we may not be like we may not say like it may be accurate, right? Because first important, I already declared the ammonium nitrate what we have considered, it may not be same. So the grade will be varying. So the effects what we are going to get maybe change, right? So So this is how I want to conclude. So we have to keep that in mind when we, what is the takeaway? Okay, the takeaway is it's a hygroscopic. It should be stored it should be free from the humid conditions. It will be free from humid conditions, and it should not be stored along with any fuels, especially fireworks, petrol, diesel, or anything. So if it is that, and if it is in a powder form, you can store it as long as possible, right? So I want to give credit. So I cannot do this work by myself. So my student and myself joined, and we have did this work, and it got published in, I think, in November. We got acceptance from the journal. So my student Srinivas Sivaraman, who is now a PhD scholar he's doing his PhD in hydrogen safety at Ulster University, Ireland. So we both together we worked on this, and we also published this paper. So you can search this paper, you can get, and much more details are given in very elaborate way. If you have any questions, yeah, I'm ready to take. Thank you, sir. Yeah, any questions, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Surendra Varadarajan. It was an excellent presentation. The more information was there actually. What I request is just pass on this presentation to us so that we are
yes, sure.
Put it in our website, and we are going to distribute to our members also, because you gathered a lot of information, which is not feasible to deliver in 15 or 20 minutes. I know that. That's why you were in fast track.
I was very fast, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry for that lot of time I took. I'm very sorry for the organization.
It's okay.
And the next speaker.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now I request.
Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If any questions are there, I request to put in the chat box. Actually, we don't want to waste more time here. We'll take this one to the end. Okay. So whatever questions are there, I request everyone to put in the chat box, and after the second presentation, we are going to handle that session, quiz session. Okay. Thank you. Now we'll
Thank you.
Yeah. Now we'll go to the next session. I request the new members to come forward to introduce yourself. Like I can see a few names. Mr. Talib Ahmad. Are you there? He's not new, but
yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Talib Ahmad. I am working as a safety officer in Almir last 2.5 years. Last I am member of this ASSP more than 4 years. So when I was in India, that time my number has closed. I take new number and I join again here. So continue. I am a member of ASSP.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Talib Ahmad. Nice to see you, and we request you to come for all our meetings and to enhance our knowledge. Okay. And
okay.
Yeah, and I request Mr. Mohammed Hessam to introduce yourself. He's a student member.
Hello, good evening. This is Mohammed Hisham. I'm a student at Georgian Technical University. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and I just joined ASSP, and I'm really looking forward for good memories. And before leaving, I just want to say that Mr. Surendra, your presentation was absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for a really nice presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed Hisham. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Hissam. Now I request Mr. Nitin Kumar Nikas. Could you please introduce yourself? Mr.
Hello, sir. Myself, Nitin Kumar. I am working here in HESCO. But this is not my first time. I am with. This is my 5th season. I am working with you. It's a really nice platform to know about PSM.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nitin. I missed you in the previous sessions. I didn't see you probably. Anyway, nice to see you again. Okay. Any new members are there? Could you please come forward? We'll be having 2 more minutes for this, and
Yeah,
and we'll,
they also enjoy.
yeah, hi, please, Mr. LB Seta.
Yes, yeah. I'm a new member. I'm joining the group today. So I'm a safety personnel with my company. I'm based in Cameroon.
Your voice is not clear, dear. Anyway, thanks for joining.
I said,
And
yeah, maybe the network is bad.
yeah, okay. Just what you can do is just introduce yourself through the chat box so that everyone will come to know about you, and just put how do you come to know about this platform. Okay,
Okay,
you would
sir.
able to explain it now or explain now, or otherwise just put a sentence in the chat box so that everyone will come to know about it. Okay, thank you. Any others, please?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, my name is Adnan and I'm in Kuwait and I'm working as a safety officer from past 6 years now. And I'm a new member. This is my second meeting with the ASSP. Last meeting I completed was for the AGT gas testing and I'm a new member. So I would like to introduce myself as a Adnan and I work here from past 6 years as a safety officer for oil and gas company.
Thank you, Mr. Adnan. Thanks for joining for the PSM technical meets, and I request you to come and join for all our technical meets.
Sure,
Okay?
sure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Okay, any others, please?
Hello, good evening. This is Rizwan Ahmad Sheikh. I'm currently working in Kuwait for last 5 years. Right now, I'm working with drilling and technical support team in KOC for a contractor. I'm a new member in ASSP, and I'm preparing for CSP. So it's been a lot of help for me here, and this is what I wanted to introduce for myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rizwan Sheikh. Thanks for joining. Any others, please? Okay, anyway, time is not there now. We'll move forward, and I request the second presenter, Mr. Najas, to come forward and deliver his speech. Mr. Najas is a lead HSC engineer in working for L&T Hydrocarbon Engineering, and he is with ASSP chapter since 3 years, and he's working in different committees. Now, since 2 years, he is with the membership committee, and he brought a new section, you can say, student section. We have tied up with a university we called QSAT, Cochin University of Science and Technology, and we have a separate section for the students now. This credit goes to Mr. Najas only, and with the QSAT, we have successfully conducted one full day event. There were 7 presentations and what you can say, moderation sessions were there, which was very useful for our entire professional community. If you need to if you need to go for that event, you just go to our YouTube channel and you can find the full event with all the technical sessions and the moderator session. Okay, there were 10 highly qualified professionals who has given their inputs in different topics. Okay, if you go through, definitely it will enhance your knowledge. Please have a look whenever you got time. Okay, I just have a link about your about our YouTube channel. Just click that one, and you will be subscribed to our channel. And whenever we upload a new video, you will come to know it, and probably will like it in the future, because we are not only going to conduct this type of physical meet, we are going to make some new videos on safety, and probably we are going to upload them in our YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Najas, for your wonderful cooperation with us. And now the stage is yours. Please go ahead. Mr. Najas.
He's facing some network issue.
Yes. I just saw him a couple of minutes back. He was here. Please bear with us. We are all facing network issues most of the times. Okay. And initial also we face some issue, and this is the second time. In between, what is this? No, okay. Okay, in the meantime, we can talk about some other things. If somebody.
Hello.
Yeah, speaker giant. Yes, Mr. Najas.
Yes, sorry, there are some range issue, network issue. I came out actually from the. So, sorry for the inconvenience. I am Najas Tategat Abdul Karim. Currently, I am working as lead HSC engineer for LNG Energy Hydrocarbon for KOC NSGP project. So, I'd like to share one of the incident what happened as a hazardous chemical carrier road incident which happened in 2011 when I worked with Hindustan Organic Chemicals. Is it audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah. So I just want to share one incident and the importance of the MSGS, Material Safety Data Sheet, which when I faced in this incident. Okay, the importance of how this MSGS helped to resolve or tackle that emergency. So I just want to discuss into 4 sections like emergency call and whatever was emergency call. Okay, regarding then come to the decisions. We have to take quick decisions because it's emergency. We don't have much time to act. Then on site, once you reach the site, what we have to do and what are the recommendations. So these are the 4 sections that we are going to discuss in brief. So regarding the emergency call, you know about 5W and 1H. The same principle we had to apply. So when you receive a call, we had to what happened, okay, where it happened, when it happened, and why it happened, and how it happens. So these can you go next slide? Ramana, Mr. Ramana, please, can you go to next slide? Yeah. So these are the details to be collected actually. So this happens in actually the company was situated in Mumbai. Exact location is Rasani, which is around 60 kilometers from Mumbai. And this happens in the Mumbai-Pune Express Highway, which is one of the most busiest traffic highway in India. So, and it happens, what happens, one of the truck, it fell into the river. and fell into the river. And when the people approaches there, and they feel eye irritation. So this was the complaint that we received from the call. So can next slide, please. So this was the complaint. So we got about the information. The information was received from the local police station, and we are one of the government company that is Hindustan Organic Chemicals. So we have some responsibilities in social. We have some social responsibility. That is why we attended, and we are one of the expertise in the chemical in dealing the chemical emergency. And this is not the first time that we are attending the outside calls. So we got the information regarding the emergency. The next is the decision. Okay, what we have today? We have a lot of resources. So what resources has to be taken? So we have. Please go back to the slide to section 2. So what we have to take? We have the fire staff. Okay, so like a fireman, we can call them as a fireman. And in our time, it was fire operators. Okay, and the fire officer is there, and he who was in charge of the fire station. And a fire tender or fire engine, we can call technically simple common word. It is called as a fire engine. And a fire engine, we have 3 fire engines. 2 are of foam tanks, that is a mix of water and foam, and another one is purely for the DCP, trichemical powder one. So, and one more ERC Jeep was there. It was modified as Sumo. Okay, the front 2 seats were the back. We have modified to some of the containers, compartments we made, and we arranged some of the leak tackling equipments, and we stored BSHs, PPs, then different types of plugs for tackling the minor leakages, minor chemical leakages, especially the chemical tank. So in that situation, I decided to take the ERC Jeep, because if you want any fire tender, we can take it from the local. We can take from the local fire brigade. And I took some of the extra foam cans. In case of an emergency, we can use the foams if you want to use that one. And we requested the local police station to have a local standby fire tender, local standby. So this was the regarding the decisions, how we took it. And next, we took the Jeep, and this was happened around 30 kilometers from our site. And we took the direct access to the Mumbai-Pune Express Highway. And we reached on the spot, and the local police were also there. So next slide, please. So we assessed the situation at the on-site. When we reached there, you can see the photograph. It is only one of the symbolic photograph. So when we reached the truck, the truck carrying the 200 liters barrel, chemical barrel, fell into the river stream, and this broken drums were scattered around. And the local fire brigade already sprinkled the water, and they were feeling eye irritation and suffocation. We also faced the same situation. So with our special PPEs like SCABA, rubber gloves, full body gown, and the rubber boot, we approached to the site and checked the label, and we got the information regarding the chemical. So I don't remember the name of the chemical, but this is only an experience sharing because it happens in 2011. I tried to recollect, but I can't. Sorry for the inconvenience. And so we got the chemical name. So then the next step is the download. I downloaded the MSTS and reviewed the MSTS. The unfortunate thing was that the chemical that is reactive with the water, and it forms a toxic gas, and which is irritant. So we got the root cause. We got the root cause because this cannot be this for tackling this leakage. We can able to spray water to that particular chemical, because the water will react with the chemical and forms the toxic gases, and which is irritant. And the local fire brigade were not aware about this one, and they don't have BSA, They directly pour the water, and this was the reason behind the eye irritation and the suffocation. Next slide, please. And the recommendation what we did, we secured the area because it was not the public rush area. It's high express highway. Okay, and secured the area and we informed them to avoid the contact with the water. In future, they don't have to spray any water. Okay, avoid sprinkling of water. And we advise them to contain the water because it's already contaminated. Contaminated in the sense that the chemical was mixed with the river stream there. So, and it was not flowing in a high speed. It was, so what are the chemicals we had to contain using the vacuum tanker. And the same thing has been informed to the manufacturing company. Okay, so we ensure their support also. In this situation, we can't able to find the drivers there because they abandoned the vehicle and left because of the police case and other things. So we recommend some of the actions to manage or avoid recurrence. So we have to ensure the defensive driving training for drivers, emergency communication. In case of an emergency, it happens. What we have to do, to whom we have to call. At least if they inform the local police station by dialing the 100, like here in Kuwait, it is emergency number is 160. In India, we have the 100 and 101 for the fire service, and inform them this is the issue so that this will reduce the intensity and we can evacuation or something is required, we can do that one. And training for the local fire brigade regarding the chemical emergency. Chemical emergency is entirely different. We can't able to pour. Sometimes we had to use the foam concentrate, or sometimes we had to use the dry chemical powder. It depending upon the scenario. So the basic training to be provided to the local fire brigade at least in the officer level. So who leads or who supervises the situation. Then there should be proper journey management plan from the manufacturer. So I still remember we have the production of an N2 of nitrogen tetroxide, which is used as a rocket propellant in ISRO, Tumba in Tamil Nadu. So when they come to collect this chemical tanker, there will be always one sumo. Sumo means a pilot vehicle was there. So I still remember that pilot vehicle. So, and they were traveling only during the night and they are avoiding the rush city roads during the daytime. And there should be some verification from the motor vehicle department and traffic regarding the tankers or ASSP carriers. In Kuwait, we have stringent rules are there. In order to carry any hazardous waste or chemicals, the vehicle should have taken special approval from the traffic department. And moreover, the main thing is that the ASSP code, emergency action code display. Can you click? So this is the basic thing that a firefighter requires. And as per the legislations, this to be pasted in all the 4 sides of the vehicle. But that is for the permanent carriers only. There are 2 types. One temporary carriers. Permanent carriers means okay, if the petrol tanker is it's carrying petrol only always. Okay, so that it can be pasted. What about the temporary carriers or like containers when we are trekking in the trucks? So at least we should have a display of that EAC code. This will definitely help the fire brigade for the mitigative action. So let us go to what is this emergency information panel. This consists of the hazardous chemical name of the chemical, and the EAC is the emergency action code. You can see in any hazardous chemical carrier, you can see this code. And 1203 is the UN number, is a unique number for each chemicals. And the next one is class NFPA diamond label that is already covered by Mr. Surendra in his previous lecture. So what is the importance of EAC, emergency action code? So from this EAC, the 3-digit number or 2-digit number, we can able to easily identify what type of extinguishing media to be used. For example, petrol that we are using commonly in everyday day-to-day life. So that code is ESC code for petrol is 3YE. What does this 3YE means? 3 means we have to use the foam, not water, for as an extinguishing media. And Y means you can see that one. Its reaction is very violent, and we have to use the BS set for firefighting and tackling the spillage emergency. And we have to contain. We cannot able to dilute with water and put it dispose it in the open area. So we have to contain this chemical. So these are the information regarding the ESC code and NFPA diamond. Everybody knows that. We can have the next slide, please. You can know that in diamond numbers and the figures, what it means. The number like 1, 2, 3, it's up to 9 classes are there. And each classes is having distinguished name and a picture for that one for easily identification. This 3 means it's a flammable liquid. Petrol is a flammable liquid. If you carry some explosives, so the number will be 1 and the picture will be, you can see the orange color, the first one. And the source of this labels is from the GHS, Globally Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling of Chemicals. And I would like to show some of the sample HASCOM codes for selected chemicals. Like you can go through that. For example, hydrogen. Its UN number is 1049. That will be the unique one. And HASCOM code or ESC code is 2SC. So if you back to, can you go back to that ESC panel, 2 slides back? Yeah, one more slide, please. One more slide, yeah. So 2 SC means 2 means you have to use the fog. Okay, S means we have to use a BS set and we can dilute that one. So we have to correlate this table with the code, then it will be easy for a fireman or a firefighter to decide what type of extinguishing media to be used. So I would like to conclude as this MSDS only helped me to tackle that, helped us to tackle that emergency. If we can't able to download that MSDS, if we don't have that BSA to approach the state situations, this cannot be done. This incident cannot be tackled well. So hope you understand the importance of the MSDS. Why we have to keep the MSDS always with while transportation. It will gives an idea about the firefighter or the emergency responder to take quick decisions and quick mitigation measures. Thank you. Back to Mr. Ramana.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Mr. Rajas. You are also like a fast track. Excellent information. Okay, so it was very well delivered. But again, I request you to send the presentation for us so that we are going to upload it in our website and we'll distribute our members also. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we'll go to next session. Online quiz will be there. Okay, quiz will be question and answer session will be there after the quiz actually, because when the people are going for the quiz, we'll be having some time, 5 minutes. In between, we can go for question and answer session. That's why the quiz session will be like, why we are conducting quiz. It is only to distribute the participation certificate. Okay, not to test your knowledge. Okay, nothing to worry about if the answered things are correct or not. Okay, just check the questions and answer it. And once you submit that one, you can also check yourself whether you have done it correct or not. Okay. While entering the data, you just put your name properly. Don't put all in caps lock and all in small letters like that. Put the name in proper manner. Like initial letter will be caps lock, remaining will be small letters like that. second word will be again caps lock and small letters like that. And don't repeat it twice or thrice. We only require it once. If you put it on if you participate the quiz in twice or thrice, you're not going to get anything. It's only affects our system. Okay, that's why I request everyone to participate once only, and take your time. It will be like 5 minutes. We are going to give. It's very simple questions will be there, and after that, it is also having our feedback form at the end. Once you submit the question and answers, you will be having a feedback also. After that, once you submit, you will come to know your score also simultaneously. Okay, I'm going to post a link for the quiz. Just participate in this. And meantime, whoever wants to ask any question for both the speakers are available now. If anyone have any questions, you can just unmute your mic and ask the questions. Or if you have any issues with the mic, just put the question in the chat box so that we'll read it to our speakers, or speakers themselves will read the chat box and answer to you. Thank you. The link is posted in the chat box. Click on that and participate in the quiz. We are on time now. By 8:30, we can close that quiz. And okay, in between, we can go for felicitating the speakers. Riaz, could you please open the felicitation? Thank you, Mr. Najas, for your wonderful presentation. The incident was unique, and we came to know the importance of MSDS, why we need to keep and why we need to have a look at the MSDS for the chemicals what we are having in our site. Okay, so definitely we might have got some information through your presentation. Thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Surendra Varadarajan. Your presentation was excellent also, and you have given a lot of information. You have gathered a lot of information, because this was a recent incident, you can say, and maybe how much exploration you had did to gather this information. Definitely, this will help us if you provide this one to our members. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is the token population certificate. We are going to send to you shortly. Thank you. Okay. Now, actually, we can go for networking for 5 to 10 minutes. Still time is there. Is the right time 8:30? But
Ramana,
yeah,
Ashok
Jai,
sir wants to say. Ashok sir wants to say something. He's raising his hand. Ashok sir, please.
Okay. Good evening, Ashok
Thank
sir.
you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you,
Sir.
Jahid sir, President Jahid Bhai, and thank you, Ramana, for excellent moderating the session today. I have a few announcements. Number one is, first I would like to congratulate Mr. Surinder of UPES, as well as Mr. Nazas of CUSAT. He was instrumental in bringing student section under our chapter of international student section under our chapter. But both of them, I have an interesting announcement today. Exactly day after tomorrow, that is on 18th March 2022, I am doing a BCSP webinar mainly focusing on the QAP, which is a qualified academic programs. That means earlier only US degrees were allowed for the ASP waiver. From last 2 months onwards, BCSP has made a changes to the QAP criteria, which is a qualified academic program criteria, and where anybody studying the safety, health, environment programs outside US will also be eligible for the ASP waiver. So on the same topic, I am conducting a webinar on 18th March, mainly how to go for the QAP accreditation. CUSAT is already listed because few members were focusing with me from last 3-4 years, and CUSAT is already listed. But this announcement is mainly for the Mr. Surinder of UPS, because a lot of people have requested me on the LinkedIn that how UPS can be part of this. So I request Mr. Surinder to attend this program on 18th March. And I'm also sharing this link in the chat box, as well as I request Mr. Jahid as well as Mr. Ramana to share with all the ASSP members for the benefit of them. The reason is they will get the $100 waiver in the application fees once they attend this program. So CUSAT is already there, of course, they don't need, but UPS is required. There are many members from UPS, people who studied from UPS are sending a request to me how to do this, sir. I said only institution can do it, not individuals. So I request Mr. Surinder to attend and take a special interest.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So that's what I want to tell you, Surinder. Thank you, Jahid Bhai, and appreciate your.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Please convey my best regards to Mr. Dr. Nihal Siddiqui. Okay.
Yeah, I know you are alumnus of UPS, Dr. Ashok Garlapati.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jahid Bhai, and thank you, Raman.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ramana, go ahead, please.
Yeah. 1 minute. It's already almost done. To compile the names, who has quickly answered the sessions, answer the questions. Okay. Are you getting this? Okay, Now the session is going to end after this quiz winners declaration. Like I didn't announce this one initially, but what I'm doing is those who have answered all the questions in quicker time, I'm going to like announce them as the winners. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Jaswa Chako. You are the one. Just a minute. There is the instruments in the screen. Yeah. Okay. Hope it's okay. It's clear, right? The screen is clear, I think.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Mohammad Hesham.
Thank you so much.
This is your first meeting, it seems, but you have done an excellent job. You are up to the mark. Thank you. Mr. Parvez Hussain Karjikar, congratulations. Mr. Helmi Boravi, congratulations. You are also, I think this is the second meet I'm seeing you, and you are also keen in learning the things. Thank you very much. Many times you got this quiz winner name came on the board. This shows your interest, how we need to learn the things. Thank you very much. With that, I would like to request our President, Mr. Jahid Thakur, to give closing address.
Thank you very much, Ramanna. Really, it is a very fruitful session. And on behalf of ASSP Executive Committee, I would like to thank both our speakers, Mr. Surinder and Mr. Najas, and all the participants who had spared their time for attending this one. And once again, thank you to you also, Ramanna and Riyaz, for coordinating today's event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jahidji. We are up to the like only 10 minutes delayed today.
Yes.
But it's not an issue. Okay.
Yes.
So as you are always saying to maintain the
Manage
time.
the time. Yes,
Yeah,
we are
manage
the
time.
Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Yes.
We tried our best because due to some technical issues.
Yes, technical issues. Yes, yes, no problem.
Yeah.
You've done a good job, Ramanna. Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ji.
Nice.
Now it's time for networking. If anyone is there, we can open you can open your mic and talk. We'll be having 5 more minutes to conclude. Okay. Officially, the meeting is